Have you heard of the brand new plugin called Solid Security or the suite of tools called Solid WP? Which is, by the way, not really new because it's a rebranded plugin. It's formerly known as Item Security, so it's one of the best, if not the best, or at least one of the most well-known security plugins alongside WordFence, for instance. It has a new name, new features, new UI, new UX, new everything. So in this video, I want to show you the settings, the right settings for you, for your WordPress project. But before I share my screen, you should subscribe to this channel if you want to help a French guy doing WordPress tutorials in English on YouTube. It would help me a lot. Thank you very much. And now let's jump into the tutorial. I just show you very quickly, but this is a brand new website of Solid WP. So again, it was Item Security before being called Solid, and the website is just amazing. I don't know what you think, but it's really beautiful. This kind of web design is called glassmorphism. So if you want to do the same within WordPress, I don't think you have native tools to do that because you need to blur everything and you don't have anything in WordPress. You would need to use CSS, I think. But the website is really beautiful. And you have a suite of tools. So you have Solid Security, which is a basic standard security plugin. Then you have Solid Backups and Solid Central, which is a replacement for tools like services like ManageWP, for instance. It's multi-site management. Let's go. So you make a quick research for Solid Security, and then this is the first one. It has almost 1 million active installation. You install and activate the plugin right away. If you have a backup plugin, do not forget to do a backup before doing all the settings into Solid Security, because you know it's just basic risk management within WordPress. Doesn't mean that we're gonna break your website. Just do that. You need to do that by default each time you install a new plugin on your website. So let's go into the settings of security, and we have an onboarding wizard. So we're gonna go through the onboarding wizard. First, you have presets. So just select the preset that feel the closest to you. Most of the time it's going to be a brochure website. The most simple websites, gonna select brochure. You maybe have a blog or an e-commerce website, so just select the right one. For me and for 99% of you guys, it's going to be a brochure website. Then you can enable the Security Check Pro. It's completely free, even though it's called Pro, and you click on Next. Then you can select if you're working on your own website or on a client website. So I don't know the difference. I would bet that the differences are because the presets are different, but most of the time I just select my own website. So just select my own website. We're gonna dive into every settings of the plugin after, so it doesn't really matter. Then you can select yes and force a password policy to these users. It means that every user on your website is forced to have a strong password, which is the basics of security in WordPress. So even though you don't have a security plugin, you should always make sure you have strong passwords for you and for your users, either clients, subscribers, or anything else. Click on next. Then we have first authorized IPs. So you don't want to block yourself from your own website. So to avoid that as much as you can, you should click on this button, authorize my IP address. Boom. And it can still happen, but it's not really a problem because you can go into your hosting, for instance, and from your hosting provider, you can deactivate your security plugin, and then you can log into your website and go back to the settings. You can reactivate the plugin and just make sure this doesn't happen again with the settings we are doing in this tutorial. Then we can jump on next because we already have the recommended settings here. So you click on next and we have a whole range of features we're gonna go through together. So first we have a two-factor authentication. So you would want to do that, but you just need to understand that the more you put security, hardening, and features on your website, the more of a hassle it can be for your users or on your website. So two-factor authentication is obviously something that can be a hassle for some people. It depends of the situation here. So it depends if we're talking about subscribers, if we're talking about administrators, editors, clients maybe who want to log into their website. So we have some fine-tuning possible later in this video. You're gonna see that we can not force the first time people log into your website. They can avoid the two-factor authentication process, and then the second time they log into your website, they will be forced to have a two-factor authentication. So this is one of the new features of Solid Security. So you can just toggle this one on, and I'm going to show you the other feature just so that you have a more fluent sign-up process for your website. So leave this on. Then you can toggle on everything. So this is brute force. So brute force is basically bots that try to hack to find the password on your website. So they just tried thousands and thousands of times to find the right password. This is completely automated. This is called brute force attack. And you can just activate all the features you have within Solid Security to protect yourself from brute force attack. Same for firewalls. You can block bots and any kind of attacks, DDoS attacks, and so on. So just turn this on if it's not turned on already. And then you have the site scan scheduling. We're gonna see the site scan together later, but you should activate this only if you think it's necessary. So if you have a very simple website, like a brochure website, you don't really need to schedule the scans. I think it's useful if the stakes are very important surrounding your website, like if you have an e-commerce website, a membership website, or huge website with lots of traffic and you work on it every day, then I think it's a good idea to schedule the scan every other day. It's not really every other day here because it's twice a day. But if you have a very simple website, don't really pay attention to the site scan scheduling because you can just come into your website every once in a while and run a scan yourself. Then utilities, this is the same features here, this Check Pro. So click on next. Then we have what I would call buckets of people. So this is made from the roles you have within WordPress. So you have different roles within WordPress: subscribers, editors, administrators, and many more, depending on what kind of plugins you have on your website. And these buckets of people, which is called groups here, can inherit different access, different permissions or not, depending on what you want within Solid Security. So can I have access to Solid Security features? Am I forced to have the two-factor authentication? Should I have a strong password? You have all these settings that can be applied from different manners depending on the groups. So this is the user groups features from Solid Security. You can just select the default user groups and then you will find all the default roles we have within WordPress. And from there, well, you can just see all the different settings. The default settings should be fine. Just make sure that skip two-factor onboarding is unchecked for administrators. I think it's very important, but maybe for some roles like subscribers, maybe you want them to be able to skip two-factor onboarding. It's up to you. I think it's a compromise. So either you want to have a very strong and secure website, or you want to give some space, some oxygen for people to be able to just maybe put in place two-factor authentication, but later, not the first time they log into your website. In this case, you would want to check skip two-factor onboarding for subscribers. Then you click on next. You have the notifications, so it's either all the administrators or it's just you. You can select just you or whatever you want to do. And then don't forget to put your email, but you will have the default WordPress email from settings general that's going to receive all the notifications, or you can put any email you want here. Complete setup, and boom, we're done. So now we are going to dive in details into the settings of Solid Security and make sure everything is set up correctly. So let's go into the dashboard and let's see what we have. So you can close all the notices and we are straight into the dashboard. So this is not where I want to be. I want to be in settings. Now, let's see all the settings. So first, you leave everything by default except the number. So yes, write to files. You leave this checked because otherwise you would need to do these things manually. So it's going to be a lot more complicated for you guys. So just leave like this. But the numbers, how minutes to lock out, how many days to remember lockouts, the ban threshold, you can just fine-tune everything just to avoid leaving the default settings, because all the community and all the hackers know that the default minutes to lock out would be 15, the default days to remember would be 7, and so on. So just change the numbers just for the sake of changing the numbers. So here it would be 20, and for me, I never put round numbers. It's always 21, 19, just put something like this, but just put more minutes, not 15 but 20 minutes. Days to remember lockout, I would put 10. You can lower the ban threshold to 2, for instance. This is what I would do if I were you. Then you have the lockout message, so just leave it like this. Sometimes people put funny message here, but I don't really care, so I leave it like this. And let's scroll down. Everything is set up correctly here, and you can hide the security menu in admin bar. So you can hide this security in the admin bar. I don't really like when plugins put something here, so just check this box, save, refresh the page, and it's gonna disappear. Up. No menu from Solid Security. Great, now we can jump into features. Some very important features here. So let's unveil the two-factor settings, and you have the disable on first login. So this is really great for subscribers. If you want subscribers to have the two-factor authentication forced to them, but not at the first time they log in. So the first time they log in / sign up, you would check this box. I think it's very interesting to do that because you just want to have something with the less friction possible the first time, and then you harden your website. So just click on save, and then we jump into the firewall. So let's see the ban users settings. You can check default ban list. It's going to ban some IP addresses that are very well known to be malicious. So just check the box. It would be silly not to do that. And then you can scroll down. You have some more advanced settings here, but it's not really important for us. This one is really interesting. So you can lock out admin users. It means that if someone come to your website and they want to log into your website with the username admin, they're going to be banned automatically. This is a good idea because most bots or hackers or malicious people know that admin as a username is very, very common. So you should avoid to have admin in your username. It's very easy to delete the one you have. If you have an admin as a username, just create a new account in your website, a new account with the administrator role. Then you log out from your website. You log in with the new administrator account you just created, and then you delete the first one. And then boom, you're done. You don't have any username with the admin in it, and only then you can select this checkbox. Okay, once you've done that, you can click on save, and let's see on the site check if we have something new. So I don't recommend to check file change because you will have a ton of notifications by email, and it's more for advanced users, I think, because you would need to tweak things to be sure it's perfectly set up. So I would recommend you to not check this box by default. And utilities, you can check enforce SSL. If you want to have database backups, it's completely possible. You just select here schedule database backup if you want them to be scheduled on a regular basis. So for instance, here it would be the number of days between database backups. If you have an e-commerce website, membership, or something important, I recommend to put 1 here. It means that you have a daily backup of your database. And if you scroll down here, save locally and email, I recommend you to do both, locally and email, and you have the backups to retain, and you put 30. It means that you will have an ongoing number of 30 backups, database backups, all the times by email and locally. This is for a bigger website. If you have a most simple website, you can still have save locally and email. I think it's a good idea, but you can just put here, for instance, 7. You can leave like 30, for instance. So every 30 days means you have only 1 database backup every month, and then you retain 7 backups. So you have 7 months of backups ongoing because you have a brochure website. You don't make a lot of change, nothing going on, nothing happens on your website. So it's good enough. You scroll down, you click on save. Then we have the user groups. So you already know everything there is to know about user groups. You have notifications. So here, most of the notifications, you should uncheck them because you're gonna receive too many emails. So you just want to uncheck everything. You have site lockouts here, you uncheck. You have security digest, you uncheck everything you can. And you also have the default emails here for two-factor email confirmation. So if you want to tweak the emails and change what's written in it, you can. Then in advance, we have some last settings we can do. So everything should be checked here. It's important. In WordPress tweak, you can leave disable file editor checked also, and you can disable XML RPC only if you do not have the Jetpack plugin installed on your website. If you don't have Jetpack, it should be fine and you can disable it. You can restrict access to the REST API if you know what you're doing, because if you don't know what you're doing by clicking on restricted access, it means that you should click on restricted access. And then you can check these two boxes. And last but not least, you can hide the backend. So it means that the default slug of WordPress to login can be WP admin, WP login. This is going to be hidden, and then you just choose whatever slug you want. So something not obvious for people. So for instance, I can write just coconut because this is not obvious. So this is a good idea in terms of security. So just put a random slug, something that relate to you, and you should remember this slug is very important. Otherwise you cannot log in anymore to your website, and you would need to find a way to disable solid security from the outside to be able to log in again and so on. So just remember this URL, put something completely miscellaneous, but something you can remember obviously. Then if we jump into tools together, you can just run a few tools and we are good to go. So just come here and click on run. You come here, you click on run, and you come here and you click on run again. So you just need to refresh if you have the red notice. You click on run again for the change database table prefix. Fine, it has worked for most of them. We come down and you have some settings like this one, or also this one. If you think you has been hacked, if you think that someone has access to your website and has bad intentions, you can force him to log out, and you can come here and click on change WordPress results. You click on run, and it will force all users to log in again, including you, of course. You can also use this setting, it's very interesting. So you can create a MU plugin. I don't know how you say in English, MU plugin. You click on run and then boom, you're done. So now we can just check each of the different tabs we have within the plugin. So you have the dashboard, you have a very, very nice, very clean, beautiful dashboard with everything you need to know about what's going on in your website, including the integration of PatchStack. So now Solid Security has an integration of PatchStack, so you can have in the pro version also virtual patches. So what the difference is? In the free version of Solid Security, you will be notified each time you have a vulnerability on your website. So it can be about your theme, it can be about a plugin. If you have a vulnerability, you will be notified and you can come to your website, make an update, and you should be fine. This is the role of PatchStack. But in the pro version, you have more because you have virtual patches. It means that if there is a vulnerability but you don't have any updates to do because the developers are not ready yet to push an update to protect your website, it means that you're still vulnerable even though you know there is a vulnerability but you don't have anything to do. You cannot do anything, you cannot protect yourself. So you're open to something that could happen to your website. So in this case, you would use virtual patches, and PatchStack can do that for you in the pro version of Solid Security. So you don't have anything to do, you're already protected. You can come to the site scan. This is a brand new feature of Solid Security also, and this is very good because you have the whole scan with are the passwords strong enough? Is everybody on to two-factor authentication? Is your website safe according to Google, or did they find some malicious code on your website? Is everything up to date? Plugins, themes, WordPress core. So you have a complete scan that you can run from Solid Security. It can be completely automated. We saw together earlier the site scan scheduling. Or you can come here and do this manually. So you would just need to click on Start Site Scan, and you will have a complete scan on your website. So this is really, really neat. You have a firewall just here. You can come here every once in a while to see what's going on. And you have vulnerabilities. This is a tab for PatchStack. So if you have a vulnerability, it will be displayed here. And you have user security. This is a really great features. This is a features where you can manage all the users. So if you want to edit a specific user, you can from here. Talking about security, of course, so you can force these people to log out, this person to log out. You can delete the account. You can force users to reset their password. You can send a reminder about setting up a two-factor authentication. You can do everything from here, but you can also bulk do these things. So it means that you can use the filters here. And from the filters, you can, well, filter from a specific role or even from the password strength, just here, very weak, strong. You can do the same for two-factor authentication, has enabled, does not have enabled. And from here, once you have filtered the users you want, you can bulk edit them. Just click on quick action. You select all of them here. You click on quick actions. You can do the exact same things, but for all the users. So you can do this for hundreds or thousands of users from a WordPress website, just using the filters here. So this is a really nice feature. What do you think of Solid Security? I think it's a really good security plugin so far. I really like the rebranded thing. I really like the new features. I really like the new UI and UX. I think it's a lot better than items used to be. And I would prefer Solid Security to any other security plugin out there in the market right now. So what do you think? Let me know into the comment section. If you have any question, please ask me. I'm pretty sure I didn't talk about anything. I could do a 1-hour video to do in every details, even the more advanced part of the plugin, which I didn't do. But I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was useful to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if it's not done already, because you will have plenty more tutorials to come, always about WordPress, of course. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.